a modern workplace solution architect and consultant. I'm a Teams Power Platform and SharePoint framework specialist, and I'm an internet speaker as well as blogger. Okay, you can want to contact myself. You can able to see my contacts in the PPT, the right hand side, and after this session, we will share the screen PPT to you. You can able to get the details. Okay. Okay, today I'm going to talk about first give some overview about Microsoft Graph. And before Microsoft Graph, what we used, that is Office 365 APIs, and we have a lot of REST APIs in our SharePoint, everything, right? Previous SharePoints we used or a lot of REST APIs, right? Web services before that. Then I talk about what is Graph API, and then consume Microsoft Graph API, how to do that. We have two type of objects. One is AAD HTTP client object. The second one is MS Graph client object. And then I can talk about the API permission request. Because of every request we are doing from our SPFX, right? Whenever the permission record, we need to give some access permission approval. Then only to be able to accessible from any of your REST APIs. So it's like you are accessing from Azure or SharePoint or Planner, any Office 365 application, as well as including now the Graph APIs is a unified group, right? It's available for all these Microsoft 365 applications. And I talk about isolated web parts. What's the difference between isolated and normal web parts? Because of the permission, whenever you're uploading in some web part in the app catalog, it will accessible from every site, right? Whenever accessing, the permission once approved, it's available for everywhere. That's we need to restrict. Whenever we want to bring the same permission not available for other web parts. That's the reason Microsoft brings the isolated web parts feature. Okay. Then I'll give the demo how to bring the data from SharePoint list using MS Graph. Okay. Okay. First, I'll talk about the Office 365 APIs. Before Microsoft Graph API, we have Office 365 APIs for every application. Like Azure AD Graph, we have graph.windows.net that we can use the user group application devices, everything. Please mute everyone. Then we have the Exchange Online. For Exchange Online, we used outlook.office365.com/API. I believe everyone remember that SharePoint Online. For that, we use our tenant name .sharepoint.com/_API. And what are the list sites we can get the data out of that, right? Using list, library, search, user profiles, everything. Same like we go for, these are the REST APIs we used before, right? OneDrive for Business, we used tenant-my.sharepoint.com/_API. Because of that, also another site collection it's brigade. That's the reason it looks the same domain. And we have the OneNote, notebooks and pages I can able to use from onenote.com/API. And for Yammer, we have the yammer.com/API. Stream, videos, channels, and we use the same SharePoint, right? The same like SharePoint, but we can use the portals. These are the different REST APIs we used in Office 365 before introduced by Graph API by Microsoft. Now, what are the new applications like Microsoft Teams? They directly introducing to Graph API only. It's not they don't have any REST API. Okay. This is the application. What's the main use of Graph API? Whenever the application we are extending, for example, I have a Office 365 with Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, everything, right? I need to get details from externally, or I need to get detail to build any customization out of my Office 365 for not only SPFS, we can do Microsoft development, Teams development, OneDrive development, whatever you want to develop, anything we can directly go and use the Microsoft Graph Unified REST API to access from external application as well. We can use the unified single API to access everything. That's the main advantage from Graph API. Other good thing is Graph API. You can see here the Graph Microsoft Graph how will connect with the Office 365. All the Office now, as of now, it's having 19 endpoints. Have a single API. Okay, single root API. We have a different API where to connect, but everything is looks like graph.microsoft.com. That's a very big advantage, right? We don't want to go with multiple REST APIs to access like that. Okay, and the Microsoft Graph API, we have a connectivity with all these calendar, chats, Teams, OneDrive, messages. We can get from everywhere, and we can retrieve the data the single place. That's you need to manage our perimeter everything easily. Okay, now what is Graph API? Graph API, Microsoft Graph exposes REST APIs and client libraries to access data on the following Office 365 services. Okay, and see, this is a unified a single API, the group API. The Office 365 service, like already I told, right? Dell, Excel, Microsoft Bookings, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, OneNote, Outlook, Exchange, whatever, Planner, SharePoint. Not only this, we have what are the new application added in Office 365. Everything we have a unified REST API is called Microsoft Graph API. Now, whatever the new application coming added to Office 365, we have only Graph API. What are the existing application like SharePoint, OneDrive, Stream? These are all the things we have REST APIs as well. We have different APIs. Still, that's working. Okay. And always you remember that we need to go forward with a new application because of Microsoft Office 365 and Microsoft 365 services. All regularly they are moving forward, right? They are bringing a lot of modern environment features in include that. That's always you need to migrate yourself also. Don't depend with the old REST APIs. Okay. And we have the mobility and security services, Intune, and then Windows 10 services. All we can utilize in a single point of endpoints using Microsoft Graph API. Okay. Now we can able to see my screen, right? We can able to understand how the one endpoint, one token with all users with a one URL. That's a graph.microsoft.com. It's very powerful to access everywhere, and performance, everything is good. And we don't want to remember the every URLs, right? Only it's a single URL you can access all the applications. And one more thing in Microsoft, they are providing we can get all these graph to understand. Okay, we need to understand first. Okay, before consuming that, I can show you. Whenever you go Microsoft Graph API, we need to know the Explorer what URL we available already and how to use it, how to get the value from there. Right, we need to explore it. How the output, how the inputs goes. We need to understand, right? That's why you can able to log in wherever you are using. Just in the left hand side, you can able to see sign in with Microsoft. Okay, just sign in with your credential from Office 365. Once sign in, you can able to get able to set the permissions. These are the permissions come from there. These are a lot of permissions. Which one is which for which API we need to understand first. Then only you know how to grant permission to the corresponding APIs. First, you can understand if you go to here, show more samples, you can see all these applications here. Okay. For example, I need a SharePoint list libraries and SharePoint site libraries APIs or Teams like that. If you enable it, and you can see here now the list all available here. Okay. And you have more than that. Yes, only the sample item is there for testing purpose. We can have more APIs. I'll show you. Okay. When you go for SharePoint list items, right? I can say I have list columns or something. You can see here. We need to point out some name here. Okay, I'll say use contact list, or you can use the GUID. You can get the output here. The bottom you can see the output with a JSON format. Same. This is also another REST API, right? You can see the context. It's how will bringing that. You can always remember that this is the API part of you for a particular item. Sites with this is a root site. That's the reason it's showing root. Otherwise, you can pass the corresponding site name with the extension. Okay, and list what are the list name and the columns. You can bring in the column values here. Okay, and you can able to get the field values if you want to get all the field items. Everything you can bring, and with the site level. We can get all the list under this site. You can get it. Okay. Normally, you can see everywhere they will say the profile. Always you go with the this is a famous API URL to get our own information. That's a user profile, right? My profile I can get from my Office 365, and I can take my photo, my mail, and I need to pass the value. That's say don't have a permission. Okay, how to identify the permission? Which permission to corresponding API required? That's we need, always need, right? Which permission required to? We have a list of permissions. What to do is just I'll show you in my URL in my PPT. Also, you can be able to always take it. When you go for Graph API, we have a lot of list of Graph APIs available here. Okay, you can see user, calendar, contacts, direct objects, the OneDrive, groups, insights like that. Then same way, you can come down. You can able to see SharePoint part is a SharePoint and sites and lists. Task for planner. We can have the notes, OneNotes, mail for Outlook. These all what are the things you want. You can able to identify the particular. So now we are talking about SharePoint, right? I'll show the SharePoint part. When you go to sites, when you go to get site, which permission you want, you need to identify. Okay, the get site API, we need a delegate permission to site read.all and site read-write.all. These both permission required to access this corresponding API. You can see the API, how it looks, and the particular details about the response and everything. What to do is just go there and you can execute and verify. Okay. The same you can click sites, you can get a lot of things. All the items or APIs, you can come here. You can see, for example, get site, you can see the detail, right? Like that. When you go here, you can see all the items. For here, the list is somewhat the get analytics all missing. Okay, right? Get item, you can able to get that. Okay. When you go to understand any of these applications, for example, I want to do a new application with Microsoft Teams. I want to know what are the APIs already available, and they create a team or create a channel. You can able to get it like this. Any application, okay. And the one more thing is the Microsoft Graph API you can access from the Azure AIDs. Right? All we can have the APIs for that. Now you understand, right? How the particular item merge with the permission part. Whenever you remember that I want to give permission, just immediately go here and modify the permission. What application? This one is messages, right? V/messages, that is users. Okay, I'll give some other things now. We don't want to waste time now. Yeah, here you can see the username. We need to provide the list name. There's always GUID will pass the example. You can pass your corresponding name also fine. If you have space, then you can give the space also. Then it's work. You can bring the single quotes itself. You can get the values. Why the data immediately got it, right? The reason is already I set the permission for that. You can be able to see already I enabled that. Okay. Sites read.all and sites read-write.all I enabled for the user part of also. You can enable the user read benefit, read basic and all, read write everything. Then you can able to get it. It's a concern you need to get give the permission to the corresponding API. Okay. Here the Graph Explorer, you can get all the response preview, and also you can understand, right? I believe everyone understand how to identify the particular API, pass it and get back to the response. Okay. You can remember that this is a graph, a Microsoft Graph Explorer. Okay, you can do it from the online. And you can another URL I share this. There is so you can get all the APIs available and what are the permission needed for that. Okay, particular API. We need to understand from this screen. Okay. Then I'll go back to my presentation. Okay. Yeah. For now we understand how the APIs looks and how to explore the API, how to give the permission, everything, right? And out of that, we have conceived the Microsoft Graph API. We have two client objects. One is AID HTTP client object and one is MS Graph client object. Okay, this both are released to 1.4.1 beta version, and then we for SharePoint framework. Then the production version is 1.6.0 honors. Supporting the everywhere. Okay. Before that, the beta itself they introduced, but they released the final version on 1.6.0. Okay. you can able to consume all the data from SharePoint or any Office 365 from SharePoint framework from 1.6.0. If you are using before version, always try to use the REST APIs. Okay, the previous class I showed, right, using jQuery and REST API. That's format you can try from 1.6. Now it's 1.10, right? Let's say always you can go with the latest versions. If you are developing a new application, you can go and use the Microsoft Graph because of no need to migrate afterwards. Microsoft Graph is now unified REST API. That's always you prefer the latest one. Don't go with the old one. Okay. First, AAD HTTP client. What is that? That's a client useful for consuming any REST APIs. If you are connecting from outside also, for example, I have a REST API in my Azure. I want to connect. You can go with the AAD HTTP client. Okay. And whenever you go for a MS Graph client, is specific for Graph APIs. Okay. And AAD HTTP client also support Microsoft Graph. You can use it for consume the Microsoft Graph or any other third parties or first party REST APIs. And what are the REST APIs available already in SharePoint and OneDrive, everything, right? You can use these also. Okay. But the SPFX it support from 1.6.1. That's also you remember that. Okay. And the AAD client, HTML client is used to perform REST calls against the Azure AD applications. Okay, that's the main purpose they introduced. And also you can use the other third-party APIs also. And for communicating with SharePoint, use SP HTTP client instead. And the SharePoint with Microsoft Graph, use MS Graph client class. Okay, that's always you remember that and use the class object whenever you are implementing in our SharePoint framework. Here you can see the properties context.aad HTTP client factory object we are using, and from that I can get the URL. That's a domain URL get client, and then I can pass the object AAD HTTP client and return the value for the particular request. Okay, and I can pass the configuration version in the last. You can see AAD HTTP client dot configuration dot version 1, and we got the response in the JSON. You can get the value and whatever you want to do. You can able to. You can bring the any functionality you want to do or any display in a screen. That's our own style, right? You can able to do. And the second one is Microsoft Graph client object. This is used to perform REST call against Microsoft Graph. This is specific to Microsoft Graph JavaScript client library. It's lightweighted wrapper around the Microsoft Graph API. That's a very good. It's an easy to use. And first time you need to understand how to use it and how to bring data from different Graph APIs. This class allows developers to start making REST calls to Microsoft Graph without needing installation the Microsoft client library. That's a good thing. And Microsoft MS Graph client object is consumed Microsoft Graph only. That's why you always remember. Whenever you want this different REST APIs, go with AAD HTTP client object. Okay. Always prefer to use Graph API for Office 365 applications and Windows 10 services and your security and what are the services related to Microsoft 365. Okay, this is supported that is a beta version, and then you can see about the 1.6. Always remember 1.6.0. Here the same thing props context from the webpack context in MS Graph client factory. Get the client, and we can pass the object MS Graph client. Okay. Then you can go to the API part. This is a user API. That's the reason it's a single word. Is if you go for site, whenever you can see the URL output, how to take the API, you can always you can understand from the Explorer. From here, you can see here that the metadata sites hash. You can take this as a API. Okay, then you can easily process the value. Okay, we can identify like that. That's easy to work on your APIs. Everything looks like that only. You can understand that. Okay. And then you can pass the version of that because of lot of Graph API have the beta version as well. Always prefer to use the finalized 1.0 minimum. Otherwise, any changes happen in the beta version when they deploy as 1.0, your application will affect. Always careful on that. Okay, because of these applications not in our on-premise environment, it's all in our of online and all, right? Always you can depend with Microsoft. Whatever they released is a beta, you can pass the beta, and careful whenever the changes happen, you need to verify your application working or not. Okay, you pass all the filters, select and get, and then you can get the output from that. Okay, what are the rest output you can get? I can get the map output run from the MS Graph client, and you can process the value. Okay, I'll show you in the example how to use that. Okay. And then the API permission is a very important one. And the API permission management, whenever I'm deploying my SPFX with Microsoft Graph API integrated, I'm getting the values from using Microsoft Graph, or any updates or any changes I'm using Microsoft Graph. Always I depend with the API permission. I need to give the approval or reject after deployment. For that, I need to add this web API permission request in my package-solution.json file under the config folder. Okay, this pattern looks like all the permission look like user. That's a resource from the operation and all the constraint where you want to do the scope. Like resource is always a Microsoft Graph whenever you using the Microsoft Graph. If you go for a different thing, for example, Azure AD or something like using AAD, then you can use that different name. Because of that, we get a different permission. Whenever you are using Azure AD, you can get a permission value, right? The resource you create it. That resource you can mention that, and you can give the permission scope, whatever you want. Okay, that's whenever you giving permission, always remember that this is something like an array. It's not like a single value. You don't give comma and add a lot of scopes. Wherever new scopes comes, you can make it multiple items from the starting bracket to end, right? You can create multiple items. I'll show my example how to add multiple permissions in the single API part. Okay, this permission you need to refer. I'll add the URL here also. The same already told, right? Then you go here, you can see every item, they have a permission model, which permission they want to enable. Okay. After that, only able to you are achieve at whatever you are expecting. Otherwise, it won't work. You can enable the permission, then only the Microsoft Graph API will accessible from your web part. Okay. This is a screenshot I'm showing here. Anyway, I'll deploy and approve and show you how to do that. You can get the package name and the permission and the last requested. And once you are approved, it will accessible from your SharePoint framework web part. Okay. The another one is isolated web part. Why we need an isolated web part? Because to allow your SharePoint framework solution securely access APIs secured with Azure AD, right? Already we are giving the API management to specify these are the permissions for the particular web part we are enabled. For here, where is the problem here raises is we have a challenge. For example, I deployed one web part there I enabled one permission. It's actually granted permission to all the tenant level with the other application also. The other web parts are from under that same solution. That's outside solution also it's granting because of already I'm granting the particular permission. That's why Microsoft thought of it bring to a new update that says isolated web parts. What it's happened is this is available from 1.8.0 version. Address this situation by introducing the isolated web part. Whenever I feel that this permission only for the particular web part under that solution, wherever the solution I'm deploying, that solution only it's available. But after that, you can able to see the unique iframe with that. The isolated web part introduces a new way to isolate the access API shellcode with the Azure AD. Always ensure that only specific SharePoint framework web parts are allowed to obtain the access token for the particular API. If your web part requires permission to access any backend API or a graph, it strongly recommend that you have to use the isolated web part because of then that access will not be granted to other applications. Okay, other solutions. If you are not enable the granted, that's very easy to enable. That's I show you. Same web part, we can. This is the architecture of normal SharePoint client-side web part. The client-side web part, it's a different is when you are isolated, You can able to isolated part. You can enable is domain isolated true. You can see the screen. Okay, I'll show you here. Always it's create a new unique the domain name in that tenant part, right? For example, my tenant is jpower4.sharepoint.com. It will create a new unique domain name there .sharepoint.com to, and it's maintain a iframe control and manage your application with that particular permission. Outside that web part, that permission granted permission is not available. Only the particular. Let's say domain isolated, you are mentioned, then your web part is execute from the unique tenant level. Okay, it's totally a unique web part. It's not integrated to your application. I will show in my screen how it looks there output. Okay, and remember that the isolated web part benefits apart from the isolated SPS package run the unique domain hosted within an iframe. The permission granted apply only to code hosted on that domain. That's a big advantage. It's not across to the other web parts. The permission is always in the particular iframe itself. Then the SPS web part run on your domain. That's I told, right? It's a unique domain .sharepoint.com domain. Granted permission do not apply that. And since any other SPS isolated web part runs a different unique domain, they don't appear there also. This is a totally different web part, right? Different web part and different unique domain name. That's the main advantage. We have the different names. We can able. It's not. It's a very secure environment now. And always remember that. For example, I have 10 web parts under my same solution. It's that permission granted to all that 10 web parts. Okay, that is always. If you want only one web part, then you develop that web part separately. Don't be inside your solution. If you are granting any permission for that particular web part, it's available for the other web parts under that same solution. Okay, always remember that. Essentially, the shared application principle SPA is not used. Instead, the AID app is dedicated to this SPA solution. Okay, it's the background process like that. Creator used for authentication. Okay. Note the scope is in the individual part, but containing the solution package. Already told, right? The whole solution package is applicable. This is why if the untrusted source contributing, that's why I told, if you have any other web parts, you feel that this security will spoil your other solution, other web part, then always you can develop a separate web part for the isolated web parts with that corresponding permissions. Enabling the isolated web part, you can enable each domain isolated :true. I'll show in the package solution how it's different. And you can see that file under config package solution.json. Okay. Okay. Now I'll show this application. Okay. And one more thing, all my solutions available this URL, GitHub, Jenkins NS, spfx-demo.webparts. You can able to see the corresponding example. Okay. Okay. Now I'll show the example. Just I can move to. What I do is I can create a new folder, say example. And make my application in that new folder. Just creating one folder and navigate to the corresponding folder. Now I'm in SPFX Graph API -list data, right? Just what I do is I can create a new web part, new at Microsoft/SharePoint. In the meantime, I'll open one more thing and open that solution. You can go fast. Yeah, it's creating the web part. I can give the same solution name, SharePoint Online only. I'm using the current folder. Here, do you want the tenant admin to do that? I can say no, because I'm not, don't want to deploy as a tenant level. You can decide from where while deploying, you can decide if you want to deploy in tenant level or you want to deploy in the site level. The user can add from the sites. Here the second question, right? Every time you say people are used, no. This one is the isolated web part. Okay. Will the command solution require permission to access the web APIs that's unique and not shared to other components in the tenant? Then you can mention here. You can say yes. Okay. Then it will automatically bring the is isolated equal true. And also don't worry about it if you have mentioned no. Once you are come back to your solution in your code, you can able to change anytime. It's by default it's bring it a false and always able to change to true. Okay, and I can say web part. The same thing is applicable for both web part as well as the extensions. Okay, and I can use here the name of that some same name I'll give because of I'm going to copy some code easy to demo it. Okay, I'll use the name and web part. Here I can select React. It's creating. In the meantime, I'll explain the code because time constraints. Okay. Okay. Whenever the web part open like this, we can get this stage. Okay. Anyway, it's creating. For the particular thing, I need a web part context. I using the context listed context I'm getting. For that, I can create a web part context here in my properties. I use the context from SP web part base and get the web part context. Okay. I get for my JavaScript React component properties. Okay, and from there I can create a two state. One is for get back my values to in my array, and one is to what are the columns I want to bring. Two interfaces I created. One is title, contact number, commit. It's all just I have a list. I mentioned that. Okay. Then I go here. What are the styles you want? You can add. I bring the props and state here. Then I use my list item. What are the properties I want to bring? That's a particular table column, right? I added these controls. I am using the detailed list from the Office UI Fabric React. Now it's a Fluent UI. It's moving. Okay. Then I created one detail component. What the value is going to come for the particular detail list component. Okay. This is how the headings I added. Okay. With a particular size, field name, which one you want to but bind it to the particular control. Okay, I control I created. Then come under here. I'll see here you can able to see the rendering part. I added that control with that option can set, and we can add at the particular list item column value back to the particular control to bind. Okay, and we have the values from state, current state for list. First state of React state, we can bring from the list of values from the array. This is the array they are getting from the all the columns you can binding to particular detail list. Okay, here I this state. I meantime 1 second. I'll say check this of oh yeah, the application is ready. Now I open one more thing. I'll open and show you the application. Okay, now freshly opened, I can see the components like that. We have only 3 files will be there. We can one is for these direct rendering part in the home level. Home, that is a direct point of the web part. And when we go for the config side, right, you can be able to see the difference. You can see the is isolated is true now. Okay, whenever you can say no, it will be no. Okay, also whenever I'm doing using my graph API, always I remember I need to bring grant the permission, right? I can see the permission here. The previous one I'll return. Just copying this one. I can add the comma here and I can add. Okay. Here, what the difference is, whenever this is the array concept, okay, that's always remember that you can, whenever I want multiple permissions, the scope for the particular graph API, I can add like this. Or everything is like a particular JSON style with a array concept. Okay, always if you are add a comma like that, it will throw error while you are approving the particular permission. Okay, that's always you can remember that. Right, whenever you're adding multiple, any number of scope, there's no issues. Once you approve, it's able to accessible from your web part. Okay, always you remember that. This one is the API permission part. This one is the isolated part. Okay, if you say false, then it's a different. It will show you how the different application will work. Okay. And one more thing is, I believe that's a feature deployment part. If you want to skip or you want to feature deployment you want, that you can enable or that you do that. Just say added that for understanding. I believe the Vijay Natarajan's class, you understand that point. Okay. Now I'm going here, my application. Here I just added the contacts, but I believe it won't come. Yes. Anyway, equal to. Because of already we not added everything, right? You can add one by one. I can add some files here first. I can add one new file. Added two files. One is iList item, one is only iGraph customer list with the state. Okay, I need to add the corresponding state values to how to manage the array and bind to my table. Okay, that's a rendering to my web part. Okay, this I copy the values. List item I can copy. Just exporting the interface, iList item. I have the title, contact number, combined name and country. That's already last week also the same list. You are showing the list here. Site contents. You have the context list where today is new. You're able to see this is just a simple table I created. Contact person, there's a title column, contact number, combined name and country. Okay. Then I can go with the graph API part, the state part. I can add a. This I'm importing the particular interface and adding the exporting the array part. It's a list. Okay, I want to export the particular state with the array. Okay, now I want to import these things here. Okay. And one more thing we remember that when you go for the properties, you can see only the description available, right? Always the description will be there. I can go and add one more part is web part context. When you are adding web part context, we need a class web part context from the SP web part base. Okay, so you can import that. Then you can get a web part context. Now you can able to take this one to your TypeScript class. Okay, then you can able to get this. I think the property is added, right? Okay, so yeah, 1 second. Any headers missing?
After description, give the comma.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now what I do is I'll just go into my code. Okay. Now we got the thing. By default, that's a standard web part content. It will be there. just I'm going to modify based on my control, right? I want to get it that. For my part, first I'm going to add my headers. What are the things, new things I've added, the state and the list items. Okay. Then I can, this is just a values I'm adding to create the detailed list control from the fabric. Okay. Then from the rendering part, the same thing only added. You can see the difference. Only thing I added the state here. By default, it's not having the state, right? You can import that. And then I can render part, this normal div class only. I'm not modified anything, just a header. The output rendering value, I can add the detail list control with the list item output from my REST API. Okay, just I'm taking this render method. Okay, now I got the render method ready. Now I go here, I can add some constructor to understand the state value I need to initialize, right? I can get the state value of the array. You have the array components there. And then from the component value, right? Here, what I did is just adding the component mount value. I'm just calling the graph API. I'll explain the graph API. One second, I'll copy here. The previous class I showed, right? The same thing using the REST API, right? We have the REST URL passed from the current site URL, and I added the API web list and get by title, right? With the content list item, the same list with the items, and I process using the jQuery. Okay, it's an old model. We use that. Out of it, if you are using in before 1.6.1, then you go with this concept you can implement. After that means you can use Graph API. Okay, the Graph API I'll show you. That's a simple example. When loading, it will come here. I have the Graph API header. I not added, I think so. Yeah, we need to add. While we want to use the Graph API, you can add the Microsoft SP HTTP. Okay. Now here, what I did is just a simple object. I added the MS Graph client factory with the get client, and then the MS Graph object I am passing to the client. From the void client part, I can adding this is a API, then version, get and result back. Here not added any filter or select. You can add whatever you are required. From that, we get the output. Just I'm added the array, getting the initializing the array. From the array, I'm mapping to from the value, the rest value, right? You can get the value map using the linked list model and pushing the value to corresponding the rows. Okay, that is inside the array. After that, I can assign to the state. It will move to the list. We added the list state, right? It's available here in my control. Map to the state.list. You can assign to my detailed list control from the Fabric UI. Now I believe you understand, right? Okay. Now I'm saving that. Here, what I just am summarizing. I added one list item to bring all my columns. That's a simple interface. And then as a state, I added the interface for the array and map with the corresponding column names for the corresponding array. And then the properties, I added one more thing, a web part concept using the context. You can use the Microsoft SP web part base. Okay. Then I'll from the web part, I added the context here, and you can see here TSTX. You can add it. What are the things I added is I imported the pro and state. State I include by default is the properties will be there. State I added and my SP HTTP and the list item added. Okay, these are all the things you can include. Now I am going to build that. Okay. For because of I'm not running it directly, you can deploy. I'm going to deploy and show you. If you go on to serve also, I can show you. I believe everyone knows the difference between serve and the, but serve will execute in the workbench, build and execute, and build it just build the application. I think some error they say. I think so. Where is it? What is the error? They say just. Okay, sorry, I put. Okay. I think wrong.
Jenkins, on line number 25, instead of equal to, have colon.
Oh, sorry. Oh, thanks. Okay, now I added there's a mistake. Just I added the equal to. Sorry for that. Okay. Just yeah. Now I against serve. Okay, I think it's okay. That's again I added. What is this? Okay, what I do is I'll move to the other one, and because of we have only 10 minutes, I can execute and show you. Don't want to fix a small issues. Sorry. I think why is the problem? Okay, I can stop this one. At the same time, it's executing both. Say sign. Okay. When I deploy, normally what you do is just say I can bundle it and say right. I can show the deployment also here. I can bundle. If I receive. The meantime, I'll open my app catalog URL. It's done. I can do package solution. Just shipping the application there. It's already shipped there. Okay. Can you able to see the application here? Meantime, I can open my SharePoint administration page. They say that's my domain -admin.sharepoint.com. To give the granting permission, right? You can see the advanced option here. You can see API access. The previous old there API permissions. Now it's changed to API access. You can see the approvals and pendings here. What are the approvals already I did? Anyway, I'll show the solution how it's available. When you go to the SharePoint, you can see solution. You can see the part. Because of its Office 365 CDN, you can get all the files inside there. Okay. If you are deploying in Azure, then you can map all the Azure CDN and you can map that. This I can add, adding the app. Replace it because already I deployed the same one. You can see the make this solution available all sites the organization. I believe everyone knows that. If you are selected, it's available all the application automatically. Otherwise, where you are adding, there only it's available. Okay. And the second part is you remember here, whenever you are added the web API permission request, then it's go to the API management page and approve that request will be there. And you can see the name, review by name, Microsoft Graph, all the items. I added 4 items, right? All these 4 items are graph with the basic read and permission for user and the sites read all and also the write. Okay, and deploy. I go to my page. I create one page and add a new item. Always you need to add the item, but because of already deployed, you can be able to see the web part here. You can get the value. But by default, if you are not approved, for example, I am remove the permission here. For example, I am rejecting, remove the access here, remove. After removing the permission, then you can access the page. It won't take the values. Once again, it's not applied immediately. But it's taking the permission. Yeah, now it's come under the pending part, right? Still the management is not granted permission. You can able to see in the pending request because I've already removed from the approved permission. Okay, now I can, because of administration activities are not automatically immediately applied everywhere. Yes, I remove and add the new web part. Maybe it's not applied immediately because of the administration activity, right? It's taking some time nowadays. People more using administration activity in the Office 365. It's taking time. But by default, go off. Okay. Once approved, we get the value. I believe everyone understand, right? What I just summarized the part. It's a simple example to retrieve the values from SharePoint, retrieve the SharePoint list, and we're using Microsoft Graph API. Always you remember the API part, how to bind it. We have a lot of examples. We saw that. The API part is a very simple. These are the only set. Just passing the MS Graph client. Here, the same place you can use AID client also. But the coding is little bit changed because of we need to pass the API with a proper URL. Because of already every Graph API is the unified single URL. That's the reason we are adding like this with the API. Okay, and the version, get the object and get the result, and you can able to add all the select field if you want to bring only 4 fields like that, and we can able to filter. I want to add some filter object. I believe you know that REST APIs we can add these all the steps. You can able to bring that. Okay, what are the things you can want to add? You can select filter. You can able to add and get the value response from here. It's just verifying any error is there, it's returned back. And I can create the array object. From the array object, I'm mapping all the corresponding values from the output. You can add what are the value outputs are available. You can be able to use that. Okay. And I can set the state to the corresponding array object, and we map to the my detail list using the items is the state dot list. Just the loading itself, I'm loading. You can do with your button click and everything. Okay. Now got it, right? Yes, I'll go back my screen. Okay. Here I added all the reference. The same thing I written my blog also. You can able to see all the steps because somebody is unable to understand immediately. You can, one second, I'll copy the URL. You can see all the step-by-step activity here. You can read all the steps. What are the things we can understand? How to use the permissions and how to develop the same application line by line. I explained. You can able to follow these and do the same thing, and you can do your applications. Okay. And we have the other Graph Explorer and what are the different APIs available and how to get the permission reference. And you can, you want to know more about MS Graph and the AID tutorials. I added the reference, and also I added the reference for isolated web parts. Okay, you can take these all the reference. You can learn more on the Graph API for SharePoint framework. Okay, thank you. Now question time. We can start questions.